And we are back, students. Now we are going to start studying the categories of modal verbs. The first category is capacity, ability. So, many students ask me, what's the translation in Portuguese of a modal verb? To be honest, it's not important because all the modal verbs in Portuguese, they receive two possible significations in our language. Pode, and sometimes deve, okay? So, to memorize the Portuguese signification, it doesn't help at all. What you have to memorize, students, is what's the meaning, the idea, okay, of the modal verb. So, capacity, ability. So, the modal verbs that indicate capacity, ability, we have, of course, can. Can indicates capacity. So, every time you say a question, say a sentence using can, you are telling everybody else your abilities, what you are considered skillful, okay, your capacity. I can speak English with you, and you can understand English. Both of us have a capacity to speak a second language. All right? So, thanks God, you and me, we have the ability of sight. So, a simple sentence could be, we can see. We have the ability of sight, the capacity of sight. At the same time, when I put the sentence in negative, when I say can't or cannot, remember, can be cannot. For example, that person can't see. I'm saying that that person has no capacity to see. We are talking about capacity. I can write very fast. I can play the guitar. I can play the piano. I can't play the guitar. I can't play the piano. All of these are capacities. And when you put in negative, you are saying that you do not have that capacity. So, students, be careful when you say, I can't speak English. So, when you say you can't speak English, it means you can't at all. What you should say, because you are intermediate level students, I can't speak English fluently. You don't have the capacity of fluency, not yet, but you can speak English. I can't understand very well the listening activities. All right, you have a problem of capacity, okay? So try to not say a lot, I can't do it. I can't do it means you have zero capacity, that's it, next conversation. No, I can't do it right now. I can't do it now. Can you explain to me? You see, give me a little more, okay? Now, can and can't are capacity and indicate present at the same time. So we are talking about present. There is the past too. The past is could or couldn't. Let me write better. Couldn't or could not. We are talking about past. Could is past. So we are going to speak about a capacity from past. A person can say, when I was a little girl, I could walk faster than today. So we have the sentence, I could walk faster than today. So in past, I had a capacity that nowadays is not the same, okay? Many of you, when you were little babies, you couldn't speak Portuguese well when you were babies. Okay, you didn't have this capacity. Passive, you didn't have the capacity. So one more time, we have can, indicating present, can't, present, could, past, couldn't, past. And when I want to speak about the future, because it's present, future, past, present, future. When you want to speak about future, you cannot use modal verbs, students. There is a verb, and the verb is be able to. It has infinitive, to be able. It has past, was able, were able. Past participle, being able to. So it's a verb. Remember what teacher said in the previous video? It has the 3 possibilities of a list of verbs. So it's a verb. Modal verbs are verb and auxiliary at the same time, right? Be able to is possible to substitute can. In the sentence here, I can say, we are able to see. Right here, that person isn't able to see. See, I substitute. I was able to walk faster than today. In negative, you weren't able to speak Portuguese when you were babies. So, be able to is specifically for capacity. If you want to express capacity and let no doubts you are talking about capacity, be able to is your verb. If you want to be more relaxful, go for can or could, all right? I'm going to write a sentence in future because be able to is possible in future. When we finish all the 3 years course, we, in the future, and I'm going to write as a plan, we students, woohoo, we are going to be able to speak English fluently. Yay! In future, students? And it's coming. Look, teacher puts going to. It's a plan. So we are going to be able to speak English fluently. You see? And I'm using to because it's a verb. You can say I will be able. All right? I would be able. Now, next category, permission. When we talk about permission, mostly is used in question when you are asking for permission. When you ask for permission, the first modal verb that you remember, I think, is can. So you are going to ask for permission. It's a question. Can I dun 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 dun? It's a question. So he's usually asking for permission. The class has begun. A student knocks at the door and says, excuse me, teacher, can I come in? This student is asking for permission to come into the class. All right? So the student says, so it's present, students? Present. The student says, excuse me, teacher. Excuse me. Can I come in? So the student is asking for permission. And the other person says, sure, come in. I'm sorry, you cannot. Wait for the end of the class and we are going to have a serious talk about this. Many possibilities, okay? But not to say, yes, you may, no, you may not. It's not very common, this, okay? Can I come in? Yeah, sure, come. All right. I'm sorry. Wait outside. We are going to have a chat, okay? Can is used in a very informal way. For example, with me, I believe the students would prefer to say can, because I'm not such a formal teacher. You never are going to say Mrs. Morgado for me. You say teacher, you say my name, hey Luciana, it's okay. So we use in informal moments. If the moment is a little bit more formal, give preference for may. You're going to say may I or may we, dun, 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 dun. Asking permission using may I, may we. Don't use other person, students. In questions, may I, may we. An example, you are in your school and you have to knock at the door of the principal of the school, the headmaster, the headmistress, and you knock at the door, you listen to a voice saying, just a moment, yes, and then you ask permission. Excuse me, headmistress, may we talk with you for a bit, for just a few minutes? So you are asking with a little bit of formality now, because it's a person that demands formality, okay? So we have can in questions indicating permission. May in questions indicating permission. You don't have past, impossible in this category. But I have one more possibility. It's a verb. It's a verb. Is the verb be allowed to. This verb, students, is very formal. It doesn't come in form of questions, okay? For example, a place of formality. It's almost like a little bit of prohibition, students, or obligation. Listen to teacher. You are coming in a hotel. You go to the front desk and the person says, may I help you? And then you inform, I have a booking in this hotel. And then you fill in all the forms. And this person, the front desk attendant, is going to say, sir, man, you are allowed to leave with us your credit card registration for further expenses in the premises of the hotel. See, my English is very formal and I am asking a permission to have the guest credit card number for further use of the hotel, right? The best way is to use formality. So we are going to, the person is going to tell the guests, you are allowed to give us your credit card number. Okay, so it's not a question, it's a statement. It's asking for permission, but like a command, but you need to be very formal. It's very formal, because if you say, may I have your credit card number, sir, in a hotel, not a good idea. Okay, you might even say, no, I don't want to give you. Why are you asking for my credit card? So in moments of formality, you are going to use are allowed to, is allowed to, am allowed to, depends on the person, okay? And indicates asking for permission, all right? So we have two categories of modal verbs. There are more, students. You need to watch one more video. There are more, okay? So go to the next video to continue Unit 4 by intermediate level, okay?